imprisoned and detained at Guantanamo for around 15 years and were released in 2016 to Serbia, where I'm now. I was sold to the CIA as Al Qaeda commander and 9/11 insider. Then, after I was sold, I was taken by the CIA. Tried to have like, hey, no, just beating, just nonstop, no question, just first beating, hanging. Well, no, let me introduce myself.
Okay, okay.
First of all, let us get the people the Yemeni greetings as a Yemeni citizen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ya hala wa marhaba rhibbou. Hayakum Allah. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaba malyon. Basically, this is a Yemeni greetings, which says, peace be upon you all. Welcome and million welcome. This kind of like Yemeni tribal greetings. So, welcome everyone. I am Mansoor Adayfi, former Guantanamo prisoner. You can call me 441 as you see my number, or Smiley Troublemaker. So, I am a Yemeni citizen. I am the world citizen. I was imprisoned and detained at Guantanamo for around 15 years and were released in 2016 to Serbia, where I'm now. My story started beginning when I was sold to the CIA in Afghanistan. I was sold to the CIA as Al Qaeda commander and 9/11 insider. Then, after I was sold, I was taken by the CIA in the black site, interrogated for around 3 months. And for those who don't know about the black site, if you Google it, you can find how much the CIA created black sand around the world and involved around 54 countries, turned their prison or rented their prison to the CIA to kidnap, torture, and kill Muslim prisoners. Like the Homeland Security do now with migrants in El Salvador. The United States got rent this kind of prisons where they kidnap people, they call it rendition or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I will let you to lead the conversation if you have any question, or we can go with the how much time do we have so we can continue.
As much time as you want, you know. I'm running on your time, so you know.
Okay, so let us keep it like around 1 hour so that people can, get listen to the podcast and so on.
Okay, cool. So let's see. I don't know. I guess we can start about let's see. I got some questions I wrote down and stuff from like your because I did like chapter analysis and stuff from the book.
Okay.
So I guess one of the things is like because I know you were forced to confess you being called a bill, right? Adil.
Yes. So
And in just to survive, how did you surrender your identity under the stress, and what impact did you have in the moment of your sense of self going forward and stuff?
well, let us like I will answer the question. Then let's start the story from the beginning.
Okay, let's
Basically,
start it then.
basically, answering your question, how you surround yourself, you are a human being, basically. And when you are being tortured non-stop 24 hours, all kind of the torture, beating, electrocution, waterboarding, and so on, and what they want from you, like, their problem, like you can admit to whatever they ask, but the problem was given the details. You
Mm-hmm.
can tell them, okay, I'm Adil, I am Egyptian. If that makes you happy, if this make the pain stop, I don't care. Especially if you're like, you try to resist, you try to reason what they try to explain to them, but they don't care. They need the stuff or the information come out of your mouth, match what they have on their paper.
Mm-hmm.
So with the questionings, like over and over and days, over and over again, beatings, you reach the point, okay, I will do what you want if that makes you happy.
Mm-hmm.
So, but let us jump a little before, to talk about Guantanamo and how people end up in Guantanamo, like the story. So
Mm-hmm.
if we go back a little, Jordi, you see how the media has shaped our mindset, our way of thinking. Like,
Yeah.
you see, the media never or rarely talk about what happened before 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
And it is really important to visit and look what was happening before 9/11. You know,
Yeah.
why was 9/11 the turning point? Was really 9/11 changed the world? Like, were all Muslims like hate the West, they want to kill the West, or jihad, whatever?
Yeah.
The problem is like, all the, the focus on after 9/11, like the war on terrorism, Al Qaeda, Osama bin Laden, whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
If we go a little back, what was really happening, especially like either like in the worldwide or the Middle East or in Afghanistan or in Yemen or those countries who were bombed, or in Iraq, for example, were they really source of terrorism? No. Like, in the 1980s when the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan, United States supported Mujahideen. The CIA involved. They trained. They sent weapon information and so on. And that led to the downfall or the collapse of the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
And United States again won the war against the Soviet Union without losing a single person. It was a proxy war.
Yeah.
And the 1990s, of course, Al Qaeda, born in Afghanistan at that time was like small group, Osama bin Laden. Then in the 1990s, when the war stopped in Afghanistan, everyone back home. Osama bin Laden went to Sudan. He started his own company. And Saudi, Israeli, American, Pakistani, and Egypt's intelligence started hunting those uh, mujahideen
Mm-hmm.
because they saw them as the threat they need to be taken care of. So they
Mm-hmm.
started kidnapping them, imprisoning them, torturing them, assassinating them. Osama bin Laden was in prison in Saudi Arabia, then one expelled to Sudan, where he started doing some business. So almost Al Qaeda like vanished. There was no activities whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Saudi Arabia wanted Osama bin Laden to take him to prison because he was criticizing the, American being in Arab Peninsula and so on. He was sending, like tapes and letters through the fax. That's it.
Yeah.
That Afghanistan sank into a deep war, a civil war
Mm-hmm.
between different factions, different
Proxy wars and
loyalties.
stuff.
Yeah, and that led to the emergence of Taliban. Like
Mm-hmm.
Taliban took over almost like in 3 4 years. That took 95% of Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Osama bin Laden also, when he was in Sudan, the Saudi forced the Sudani government to hand over Osama bin Laden. They didn't want to because he invested a lot of money. He was invest in agriculture, building roads, bridges, whatsoever. The Sudan, you know, gave him a way to escape to Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
And Afghanistan, when he started there, he revived Al Qaeda again.
Mm-hmm.
And now he started, training camps, making some statements, and that led to the attack on strike on the United States uh, interest in the Middle East, in Saudi
Yeah.
Arabia, Nairobi, Dar es Salaam, da 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 da. So you know when you look at that conflict was between a single man and a country and the United States. And the United States retaliate by bombing in Sudan and Afghanistan. Then he retaliate by bombing the U.S. call in Yemen. It's like snowball.
Mm-hmm.
So and more there was like Al Qaeda not much numbers, like maybe 10, maybe they're like less than 100 members of Al Qaeda,
Yeah.
50 or 40 of them. And being fighting with the United States, give them this kind of like space, give them the attention, and also, he was viewed as he when he was talking to the people, he said, the United States must stop supporting Israel. What happened in Gaza, and you see the letter, it was published in 2002 by the
Yeah.
Guardian. So after what he attacked the United States. So there was no much as what they call terrorism or the Muslims they want to kill us whatsoever. That
Yeah.
nonsense of that. That was the product of the global war on terror when the United States announced a global war of terror. So that the conflict, US is called Dar es Salaam, back and forth, that led to 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
So 9/11 didn't change the world. It's what an attack, as they claim, Al Qaeda did it.
Yeah.
United States, respond with, they said, okay, we're going to announce a global war on terror. And they said they will go to Afghanistan. And 1 year before 9/11, the US government sent a delegation to negotiate with Afghanistan and with Al Qaeda.
Okay.
They offered Osama bin Laden, they told him, if you stop attacking us, we are going to withdraw all our forces to the sea from
Mm-hmm.
the Arab Peninsula. And what Taliban, they told them they needed to build pipelines from Central Asia to the sea for gas and oil and so on. And the United States government, for the Taliban, they said we are going to build infrastructure, give you recognition in the United Nations, and so on. The head of Taliban, Mohammed Mullah Omar, refused. He said, no, like not now. Osama bin Laden, he told the Americans, you have to, if you stop supporting Israel, we will stop our attacks.
Yeah.
That was his conditions. But they didn't tell about this stuff. However, that led to the United States moved to Plan B, which is to invade Afghanistan.
Yeah.
So 9/11 happened. That gave them legitimacy, give them some kind of like the cover and the pretext to invade Afghanistan. They
Mm-hmm.
launched one of the biggest global war on terror, targeting that global war on terror. Like they give themselves a legitimacy to police the world. And
Mm-hmm.
as you know, the Patriot Act would give the government more control.
Yeah.
So start, we're going to hunt Al Qaeda and bring people who are responsible to justice. This was the mission, right?
Yeah.
So Al Qaeda announced, they said, yeah, we did 9/11 and so on. So now the question was really 9/11 represent Muslims and Muslim. I didn't think so. Like, because you have been fighting with the single man.
Mm-hmm.
When he hit you hard, you got punished all Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
A global war on terror. And for us as Muslims, I like it's not a global war. It's a global war on Muslim, target Muslim minorities. You know, now we will go to what happened. What happened that after they announced a global war on terror, military campaign in Afghanistan led to bombing Afghanistan. While Afghanistan, American airplanes start throwing leaflets
Mm-hmm.
offering a large bounties for anyone who can bring Al Qaeda or Taliban or terrorists and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And people saw this opportunity to make money.
Yeah.
The guys who was sold me, they paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I was in a mission to do some research because after US call Al Qaeda and Taliban, it became like a hot topic in our countries.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the scholars in Yemen wanted to write a book about that.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, there was no Google, no internet. You have to go there to conduct, to be there to have some research, materials, interviews to get what's going on there. It's just now you just send an email, please, I need to talk to you or do some research. No, it wasn't that. So I at that time I just finished my high school and I wanted to finish my college education in computer science. And I said I agreed to go.
Okay.
And I had the permission from my own government, a reference letter to the Yemen embassy in Pakistan, and so on. Went there. So, and our contact point in Afghanistan was a charity organization where they help us. They, to organize ourselves to introduce us to people. And after 9/11, they were given instruction to leave Afghanistan immediately, 3 days. And they had a lot of logistics, a lot of stuff they need to get rid of to distribute to the people. And I said, okay, I will help. Then we can go together on a car and leave to Pakistan. As you know, at that time, there was no social media, no internet.
Yeah.
Afghanistan had no electricity, no TVs. We didn't know what's going on in the world. Like, totally, you didn't know.
Off grid and
Okay.
stuff.
So you are talking to someone like 9/11, like 100 floor. I wouldn't believe you. Like, I never saw that in my life. I honestly, like, even our knowledge about the United States, it's not a big deal. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Americans, oh, they hate us. My friend, we did not give a shit about you. Seriously. Like, you are not, it's a country somewhere at that time. United States country, some of the world, I don't know what,
Yeah.
like, I didn't care. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
We have our life, we have our own problems, our country, whatever. So, like, now people, like, under you can anything. At that time, we have nothing. We don't have stupid phone. We have nothing.
Yeah.
Basically. Life was so different. And also the media was controlled by states. So like, those started, now the media start preparing the public.
Mm-hmm.
Those terrorists, those Muslims, and if you see someone with the turban like that, with the beard, the dark, terrorists and killers. The media, the movies, everything like, they want to kill us. They hate us because our freedom, our democracy, la 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 la. like, you know.
Like, yeah, I mean, they're scaring like the folks and stuff, and saying,
Yeah,
"Oh man,
what they how they sold the story to the world, to the public, to the Americans, and so on, because to justify those atrocities, to justify the torture, abuses, and so on. So I was kidnapped by one of the warlords in Afghanistan,
mm-hmm,
stayed at his home as a guest because he wanted to ransom us for money.
mm-hmm,
Then, when American came, they offered him more money and he sold us. When he sold me to the CIA, he told him, this guy is Al Qaeda commander, not an insider. I was 18 years old.
yeah," and you're
18.
and you said you were like really skinny and stuff, and there and I
Yeah,
and
I was risking, like they said, in a car we had a radio, because this is how the people communicate at that time. There is no
yeah,
phone calls. We had, it was like a charity organization car. It's new, it's beautiful.
yeah,
So they said, wow. And I was like wearing a white turban in Afghanistan. And I
mm-hmm,
didn't know at that time, because I was to blend in, look like Afghani.
mm-hmm.
And they at Afghanistan at that time, only Taliban commanders with the white turban.
Okay,
So
damn
I
you.
didn't know, like, when they like what, like they said, wow. Well, when they said the white law, he's a commander.
Oh
Like,
my god.
so I mean, like, you try to blend and you have no idea, like, well, this guy's Al Qaeda commander. As CIA took me, you are an Egyptian. Your name is Adil. You involve money laundering. You involve in bombing U.S. embassies. We know, like, you have you speak different languages. You have like surgeries. After 3 months, someone came and examined my body. He had uh, like some photos,
Mm-hmm.
and he started looking at my body, examine everything in my body, like, who is this guy? Like, after
Okay.
that 3 days, they just get rid of me. I wasn't matching their whatever profile. So all the time I spent on the black side, like naked torture, like non-stop, literally. I don't think I have ever seen or will see something like that. Anyway, so in Afghanistan, so when they arrived in Afghanistan, they took over immediately, because start pouring hundreds of millions of dollars. A Taliban caught one man who switched sides. They
Mm-hmm.
caught him carrying around $180 million in his car by the Americans, by the CIA.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, my friend. They was just, they call it the black bags, like hundreds of millions of dollars. So
U.S. dollars?
US dollars, yes.
Oh.
So they start buying loyalties.
Mm-hmm.
I was taken from the CIA to Kandahar prison. Kandahar airport was turned into a detention.
Mm-hmm.
It was turned to like a military base, and there they start bringing people from different nationalities. Now a global war on terror. George W. Bush said, either with us or with the terrorist. Like, you have to be like that's, and it was big.
Mm-hmm.
After I watched like the news, it was something shocked the world. And also, like he said, it's a crusade war. And people were like, oh, he said by mistake. It wasn't a mistake, because those guys always, they have some kind of belief whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And I was taken to Qatar. I was like, you know, I had no idea what was going on. I saw like helicopters, soldiers, prisoners. I couldn't walk because I was really, tortured really bad.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, I read that, and so, I mean, what was going through your mind when you're getting tortured and stuff? Because I know you're 18, you come from a tribal and stuff, and you know, and
yeah,
you were.
at the beginning, like I tried to resist, because you have this kind of like, I get to the point, like I tried to convince them at the beginning, tried to have like, hey, no, just beating, just nonstop, no question, just first beating, hanging, shouting, yelling, and you are being hanged, blindfolded, cold. It was winter time. 3 days, no one talked to you. Then they would start talking to you. Like, now, there was, remember that room. I was naked, and there was like that thick chain. At the moment they took the hood of my head, I could see a row of soldiers like pointing guns at me, like,
Mm-hmm.
and loud dog barking. I'm like, do you know why I here? He said, no. And they start asking questions. When they didn't get what they wanted, the torture started like, now we're going to show like, now start
Hmm.
continue. Okay, I am Adil, I am Egyptian, whatever. The problem was giving the details.
Which
And
you
when they
didn't
said
know.
like, we knew you are highly trained to counter interrogation technique, we're going to break you. So
Hmm.
you get to the point, shouting, yelling, cursing. Okay, la la la. I was like, okay, whatever whatever you want, it is me. Just whatever.
Hmm.
Like you tried because you're not dealing with people who reason with you, with people who want something from you which is not there.
Yeah.
And you can like, are you is your name Adil? Yes. Okay. And they start to other question when you didn't have information, you didn't have the fact, you didn't have the details. That was a problem. You didn't
Yeah.
have them. Like even if you make them, you can't.
Yeah, and that's what you go over in your book, like, because the interrogators come up to you and said, "I know you're Abdel. Give us information." You're like, I don't know anything. I'm a person from a tribe, and you know,
Yeah, I was like, my name is Mansoor. I'm from Yemen. I was like, like as Yemenis, we are naturally we are very nice, very humble, very kind people. Honestly, I could say this
Mhm.
about my Yemeni people. And I was like, you know what you did to me is wrong. You should do that. At least give me something to cover my private part. They're like, as someone like you have your dignity, or honor, and so on. Like,
Yeah,
and it was strong to tell them that because things went worse. Like as I told you, they didn't care. They seem you are also interrogated by different teams. Like, different. They have different information, different you're looking for. I felt they don't know what they were looking for. They don't know what person who were looking for. So that said, when like those black sites serves as the previous station before you go to Guantanamo for many
hmm,
of the prisoners, and like as I told you, around 54 countries complicit with those black sites.
yeah,
And nobody knows exactly how many people imprisoned and tortured in those black sites, how many people died. The CIA refused to give any statistics or numbers or to give any kind of information about who are the people in prison or torture. Even like the torture report that most of the evidence was destroyed by Obama administration and this kind of because that it can be used as evidence about the commit those crimes. So to Guantanamo, a road to Guantanamo. And when we were in Kandahar, small planes would bring people.
hmm,
Bigger planes, we call them the beast in the cargo.
hmm,
Like in Arabic, the beast. The first time we see that kind of plane, like, wow, this kind of scary, crazy
yeah,
beast, like, like because at the
coming out of
airport you
nowhere.
can
Yeah,
see them roaring, taking off, landing. I was like, wow, wow, wow. One day they came to call me 441. I know I will be leaving and I didn't know where. I will never come back. That's what I know. All I know.
yeah,
Took us to a tent, strip us naked. They call it the process station. Would they beat you, strip you naked, shave your body, beat you in the orange suit, chain, hooded, gagged, and they put a sound around my neck, like sign, beat me. And because there was like a young boy where they were teasing him, and making joke of his genitals, and he was crying. I spat on the guard. Look, can do that. And they start. I was okay. I was happy that they shifted to me instead of that
hmm,
poor
yeah.
guy.
Because in the book, you're known as Leo the Lion, the terror, the
No,
troublemaker.
yeah, basically, like, no, honestly, like, it's our child, my childhood, the way we raised, like, because in a tribal society, it's not what the media or the movies tell you, guys. Those people on horses with the spear. Ah, no. The tribe society is a beautiful culture, beautiful tradition. We have beautiful code, which is respect for the elders, taking care of the youngers, respect, courage, dignity, honor, transparency, and all kinds of stuff. This is the way how we raised.
Yeah,
Plus, based on the, of course, Islamic teaching religion and so on. So, and there was, we spent almost like the journey to Guantanamo around 40 hours, over 40 hours, beating, loud music, dragging, guards pose on you, take photos, pee on you, like they go all shit. You
Oh
know,
my god, man.
yeah, yeah.
It
They
was
talk about,
horrible, man.
they brag about that, and you're male, females. They sit on your head. I just they because for them it's like to brag about it. We bring the terrorists, and now that the U.S. government has created a narrative, which is those guys are killers, the worst of the worst. They want to kill us. They hate us. They don't like democracy. They don't like whatever. They don't like our way of life. This kind of bullshit. Like,
Mhm.
and the problem is people. We didn't at that time like there was we the Muslim and couldn't speak or and those Arab rulers, they also under the control. Most of them are oppressors. Honestly,
Mhm.
you can talk, you can say anything, you can, and people now get a fear. Nobody can talk about against the state or criticize whatsoever. And the media, all the people you can see who Guantanamo terrorists, bad killers. Nobody even like no names, no nothing, no information about us, nothing. And arriving at Guantanamo, we spent 3 months. We had no idea where we were. Like
Yeah.
we arrived. If you Google Camp X-ray, it's like a makeshift camps with made of uh, length fans on a cement with poles. That's it. No ceiling, absolutely nothing. He went cold, no toilet, absolutely nothing. When we arrived, we are not allowed to talk, stay, even to look at the guard. Don't look at me. Look down. Shut the fuck up. Don't talk. And if you try to do anything, they will beat you. It was a way of like they want to tame you. They want to show you who's in control. They want to like you follow my. You are my
My
slave. You are
beach.
my whatever. So
Yeah.
like it's kind of so when you arrive at Guantanamo as prisoners, when you see the demographic and the diversity of the people, around 800 men arrive at Guantanamo. Also, the action number is still classified. Nobody, really, the government knows. So they
Really?
didn't, yeah, around 800, around like 50 nationalities, who spoke more than 20 languages.
Mhm.
Uh, the youngest prisoner was a few months old, like an infant.
Really?
Yeah, the oldest was 105 years old.
Oh yeah, I
Like
remember you mentioned that there was a
so,
105-year-old.
yeah. Like as I told you, I know there was a baby there, but to say this information to the public, people will see you are lying. I will show you something. So,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Go ahead.
I was traveling this year. So, and I was telling my lawyers and everything because everything we have to say it must be fact check, must be 100%. There's a lot of stuff we cannot say because we don't want to be seen like liars, exaggerating, and so on. But
Mhm.
and I was telling everyone there was a baby there. There was a baby there. I remember like the first year, and like some of the brothers said like, yeah, we remember well, because he was kept at the hospital. His father would visit him every 2 weeks and so on. Until this year, I found that book. You know, so
Wow.
I was in the plane from London back to Belgrade, and in this page, one of the testimonies of the prisoner, he said, "Yeah, there was a baby." I was like, "I was yes,
Are you
yes, yes."
right?
So
Wow.
yeah, like, and his Afghani baby, they brought him with his baby with his father. They said they were suspecting that baby is related to Osama bin Laden.
Are you fucking kidding me? Are you a
I'm
baby?
serious. I'm serious. So now I start contacting other prisoners, ask him question and so on. I talked to the man who wrote the testimony about it and so on. So like this kind of the prisoners. So when we arrived there, we had no shared life
Mhm.
before Guantanamo. Like
Yeah.
this was Al Qaeda, Taliban, and Al Qaeda, and suicide bombers like sleeper cells, whatsoever. That all bullshit. That was like BS. That was like a big lie they sell to the world.
Mhm.
And if you go now to the Brown University report, they call the Cost of War Project, more than 90% of the prisoners of Guantanamo were innocent. They have nothing. They have nothing to do with terrorism whatsoever. Most of another report by American Civil Liberty Union that 86% of the prisoners were either mistaken identity or sold for bounties,
Mhm.
and only 8%, also in the Brown University report, 8% actual fighters. Some of them
Wow.
Qaeda, some of them Taliban. And they said only 5% was actually captured by by American forces.
Because you said that I remember that you in chapter 4 you got taken next to the driver for Osama bin Laden
Yeah. So they
and
brought his driver, they brought his cook, they brought the some of his bodyguards, some of the whatever, but they are
Mhm.
not like the high value whatsoever.
Mhm.
So as I told you, like this is 8% was actually the actual fighters,
Mhm.
and it's just crazy. Like what's like about Guantanamo? It's the most secretive prison in the world. Secrecy is give the government credibility, give the government control over the narrative, justifying the actions. So basically, they call us the worst of the wars, terrorists, killers, vicious, wherever, to justify this brutality, the torture abuses. And, after the announcement of the global war on terror campaign, then after that, the Patriot Act, the legalization of the torture, as in 2002, Don Rumsfeld approved that they called the torture memo, which is by the torture program, where General Jeffrey Miller arrived in 2002. I think you heard about General Jeffrey Miller.
Yeah, I heard about how he came in there and everything went to hell, and that's when you started.
Yeah, so basically, that asshole, he came when he arrived there. Sorry. So
That's okay.
he started, he had a mission to develop the torture program. They call it enhanced interrogation technique.
Yeah.
What beautiful about Americans, they change the terminology, the language to fit so that people can accept the fact that torture is not a torture. It is just it is it is a it's an interrogation method. That man was sent to Afghanistan to Iraq in 2004 again to implement the same method of torture. And as you know, those photos came of Abu Ghraib, the prison, and so on. That was started at Guantanamo.
And
And he was the first one who had the camp SOP, standard operation procedure. We call it shit on paper. So because but what at that time, the Pentagon and the military minds, they thought, okay, we are going to go war against Muslims, and we need to know how we fight against these people. So Guantanamo was turned to be an experimenting lab. It's the perfect place. You have all
mhm.
kind of mindset, all camps. There's nobody's watching. There is no accountability, zero accountability whatsoever. And I think, yeah, there is a report by Seton Hall Law School about that, how Guantanamo was turned to an experimenting lab on prisoners. The research is Guantanamo America's Battle Lab.
Mhm.
Guantanamo America's Battle Lab, around 80 pages, based on the government document, how they turned that place to be an experimenting lab, Muslim bodies, and so on. So all the prisoners were Muslims, different ages, different countries, different mindset, and the torture, the abuse.
Because I know I know in chapter and when in chapter 8 of your book, you talk about how I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right, Zachariah.
Zakaria, yeah.
Yeah, like how he got hit. He had like you stood up for him because of his tooth getting infected and stuff, and
Yeah, like everything there, everything around you was designed to break you,
hmm
was also under the interrogator's control.
hmm
So if you need anything, and from all the time they collect information about you, like
hmm
what makes you happy, what makes you angry, what drives you crazy, what do you want, what do you like, what do you not like. That information will be used against you. Anything you say, anything you tell them. And at the beginning, we were naive to listen to them. Oh, this kind of problem, this kind of like. And later on, if weeks later, you can find that stuff actually working against you. So, like, like as I told you, the from 2002, because we don't want to take a lot of time, people I think with them. From 2002 to 2010 was the dark age, torture,
yeah.
abuses. We started also, like, at the beginning we were confused what to do, how to react, because we didn't know where we were. Until 3 months later, we found out we were in Guantanamo, Cuba. The first time, what's Guantanamo? Even the name sound weird. Sorry, I like at that time, Guantanamo.
hmm
What Guantanamo like? And as the at the beginning was really intense abuses and so on. So start the spark when the guard went to one of the cells, cages, sorry, not cell, and they one of the prison was praying, and they took him out. They took the towel of his head and they start beating him, and they took the Holy Quran, they threw it to the toilet.
Oh yeah,
The
they
threw,
threw it and stuff, and that's when you
yeah.
got
Then we
mad,
just we start get a
hell
little
broke loose.
upset and like shouting, yelling, but respectful. We try not to curse because like you kind of that person cursing is not in your language, not in your culture. You like calling someone donkey is like committing a capital crime. Like donkey, like and little by little, I start cursing in different languages, whatever. So learning from the from the guards anyway. So we start hunger strike, the first hunger strike, and we knew we could do something. We could do changes. At the beginning, General Mike Leonard, he tried, to treat us as prisoners of war, but the Pentagon, the other generals was against that. They end up taking him from Guantanamo.
Hmm.
Uh, so later on, when General Jeffrey Miller, the torture, the abuse start on, and we went on hunger strike many times, force feeding. Some of our brothers died in 2006 under the torture. That time also when Ron DeSantis Habibi, you heard my story with him, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Ron DeSantis arrived at Guantanamo in 2006 to break the hunger strike and to end up there. They call it the rebellion that camp.
Oh
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
so like again, even the narrative persists even in the prison. The more practicing you are in your religion, the more they told you are a terrorist. So basically, what they give you, if you are a practicing Muslim, you are a terrorist. That's what they want to tell us. That what the, how they behave, how they treat us, and that what want you to believe that you. For example, there is like people who lead the prayers, people who kill prayers. Oh, you are Al Qaeda. You are extremist. You are this kind of like what. I remember one day when they were desecrating the Holy Quran, we made big protest and hunger strike, and I went to the general and I told him this book was revealed over 1400s ago. It's not Al Qaeda book. It's not Taliban. We believe this book came to humanity. It's your
Hmm.
book too. Stop. uh, But honestly, like as I told you, it was a systematic torture and abuse and experiment. And I remember one of the stories. I think you should interview and reach out to one of the people who was targeted, who was in prison, who was classified as a lawful enemy combatant like us. An army captain, American army captain, a graduate of West Point College. He was assigned to come to Guantanamo as a Muslim chaplain, army captain.
Really?
Yeah, when General Jeffrey Miller started doing what he was doing in the torture program, part of that was the secretion of the religion, because that's what pressure you. That they want to see how strong your faith you are, how whatever, how you react. So James C, as his duty, his job as an army officer, as a Muslim, as a human being, he told him, no, you cannot do that. You know what they did to him?
What?
He was arrested. They put him in orange jumpsuit. He was hooded, cuffed, chained, and he was classified as enemy combatant.
Really? An
If
American?
he, American army, an army captain officer. If you Google him now or later, James C. and his book is the title of his book, "For God and Country." They accuse him of espionage, aiding the enemy. Imagine if they could do this to you as an army officer. Why? Because he was an Asian. He was not white. He was a Muslim. Honestly, like what I'm saying is what I want to make of this point later. I will tell you why I'm saying that. That if you stand against the government, not if you oppose what the government violations or the government cruelty or the government law activities, you will become the target yourself. You become the victim yourself. Trust me. Regardless, even if you are an army, you are an American, you are white, whatever. stood against the government, stand government, and you will see. You end up like a terrorist, like just like us. Now what's going on now? Like
Yeah.
so in Guantanamo also they again they the one who as prisoners we took we tried to resist, we tried to fight back, we tried to hunger strike. They classified as the worst of the worst. You know, in
Mhm.
Guantanamo, all of us the worst of the worst, but us is they call us the devils, the worst of the worst, the worst of the worst. Plus, they call us like Al Qaeda operating cell in Guantanamo. Like I said, one day I was one of the generals. He said, "We know you guys are Al Qaeda active cell in Guantanamo, but we are going to eliminate that." I said, "You should be ashamed. If the world know that, they will laugh at you." They said, "Like you cannot control Al Qaeda inside even in Guantanamo."
Mhm.
But this wasn't about that. It was about they created this kind of like big bogey about Al Qaeda. Da, da, da. Why? It is the point, the purpose to justify the action, the atrocity, the torture, the violence, whatsoever. We are
Mhm.
counterterrorism, and they started kidnapping people from different parts of the world. Like as I told you, 50 nationalities people were brought from Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran, Syria, from Mauritania, from Africa, from Saudi Arabia, from United Arab Emirates. They just bring people. Like if you
Yeah.
call them, hey, I have a Qaeda guy here, come bring him. Hey, take that money, and that's it. There was
Wow.
no rule of law, there is no justice, there was no lawyer, there was no due process. So why Guantanamo was selected? Guantanamo was intentionally selected to be outside of the law, outside of the justice system, outside of our humanity. Again, it's a black site within the military base in Cuba, in Guantanamo. They make sure that they intentionally selected that place that to ensure that Geneva Convention doesn't apply, American Constitution doesn't apply, Cuban law, whatever, nothing applies at Guantanamo. You
Mhm.
have no right until today, until that day, until that moment. So, Guantanamo become American shame. So when Obama was elected in 2009, he signed an executive order to close Guantanamo.
Yeah.
And at that time, many of us were on hunger strike, force feeding, and they came, they negotiated with us. So the living condition improved in the camp. Like,
How did they improve?
well, like now the American found out at that time that Guantanamo become black stain, become like they call it the terrorism recruitment tool.
Mhm.
And through that, they want to improve that we are different. We are not. Obama said like, yes, we torture some folks, like as okay, like as okay, we torture them. So what? Like, because George W. Bush they legalized the torture. They approved the torture.
Yeah,
And Obama
remember
said like,
reading about that.
we torture some folks, like okay, as nothing. So and now they want to use Guantanamo to see that well, we are going to show them we are good. So now yesterday you play the role of the terrorist. Now you play another role which is like I'm good to this person, like look how to treat him. The living condition proof after the negotiation, we had access to um,
Living
better food,
commandos and stuff.
like yeah, I mean like better food, better healthcare, family communication. We got books, newspaper, TV. We got we had classes, include art classes. We had even friendly guards, Navy guards, they become like when the guard was close to us, listen to our stories.
Mhm.
Many of the guards were like sympathizers. They apologized. Many of them were shocked because when the guard were sent to Guantanamo, they were told these guys, the worst of the worst killers. Imagine you are being taken to the ground zero in New York. They said the one who did that in Guantanamo. Then you are sent to Guantanamo. Your commander will tell you, careful, this guy will kill you. They will believe they are Muslim. They believe in our whatever. But when the guard came and they interact with us, they watch us eat, drink, sleep, pray, whatever. What they were told didn't match what they
Yeah.
had been seeing, what they saw every single day. They start questioning. When they found out a big lie, some of them actually refused to follow the orders they were giving. Some of them actually tried to sympathize, and many of them were punished. Like we were not the only victims of Guantanamo. Guard and Kambassa were victims like that. the army captain Jim C. He was a victim because he stood for what he believed. He stood for humanity. He stood what what the Constitution said. But again, it's what the government what the government wants. So in 2011-10, it was the golden piece, the golden era, which we
When
have.
when the new colonel was there, you guys called him Obama.
Oh yeah, they called him the prisoner called the Black House,
The bloodhound.
and they start calling. It was because there was a lot of racism, there was a lot of you can see, even not just honestly, like some of the guards were also racist to other guards.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, if you read the book Murder in Camp Delta, written by one of the sergeants of Guantanamo, you will find out how those even black guards or Hispanic or were targeted too. There will
Really?
be, yeah, they were also targeted by white guards, by not all of them honestly, but that was obvious. They were given like the dirty jobs, they were given the tasks whatsoever. So, and honestly, before Guantanamo, I had no idea like the black was matter. The colors was matters much. Like, oh, what, black, white, so what? Like, you didn't have that. So at Guantanamo, like, it's a big deal. Black, white, brown, orange. Okay, okay, okay. Now you learn something about the world. We have different issues. We have sectarian, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like now, I didn't believe at that time before Guantanamo that like people actually, like, based in your color you will be targeted, you will be oppressed, you will be misused, abused, and like, okay, now we know something new.
Seeing like
Wallahi,
racism
wallahi,
and
like,
stuff.
and like I'm still like, I don't understand. I still don't understand it. Like, why the color? Like, I know it's there, it's reality, but when you're raised in a society that doesn't exist, we have
Yeah.
different, like, we have some kind, like, in our society we have like sectarian, we have another kind of profiling. But the color wasn't one of it. But this is something new. Anyway, so in 2013, again, the army came and took over, and the head of the camp commander was his name is John Kelly, and that man, his son killed in Afghanistan, and he hates us. He hates us. So he turned the camp upside down. Even reset Guantanamo, confiscated all our stuff, destroying the art, and we had to go on hunger strike. Force feeding. Obama came again. We are going to close Guantanamo, and he revived the periodic review board, which is the administrative called PRP, administrative reviews, consist of different agencies: Department of Justice, Department of Defense, Intelligence Committee, and what else? And the department, State Department. Around 12 people. They go through your file, and if they clear you, you will be released. If they don't clear you, you stay. There is no. It's not legal. It's not. If they give that, nothing legal about Guantanamo. There is no
Yeah. No,
legal. Nothing. Even the Congress of like military process, military commissions, that for high profiles. They said the people who are accused of 9/11 whatsoever. But there's no legal basis whatsoever. So the military commission created specifically for Guantanamo to stimulate the court. Why? Because those prisoners, even the high value, they call them like the people who uh, they claim the accused of 9/11, they were tortured, confession under torture, and all that. So the
mm-hmm.
military allowed the government to use evidence obtained by torture, confession obtained by torture, even from other people. Also, the government can have a classified evidence against you without even you like I'm not allowed to look at them. So basically, it's not system. It's just like a joke. So when you are if you are cleared and everything against you in this PRP or wherever, based on your behavior in the detention in the camp. Oh, he said that he cursed the guards, he spliced the guards, he was a hunger strike, he did this, he did
Hmm.
that, la, 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 la. So one of the cases in 2022, they didn't approve one of the prisoners because they said, well, he does not have a future plan. I mean, like, you imprison someone for 22 years, isolated him, destroy him, totally disconnect from the rest of the world. And you come after 20 years to like, okay, give me a plan for your life in the future. Eh,
It's absurd.
like one of the cases in 2020, in 2020, one of the in the 2020, one of the a man who was kidnapped in Georgia and sold to the CIA, like the mafia and so on. They said, well, we haven't found any evidence to link him to terrorism. You see the language?
Hmm.
Instead, you're saying he is an innocent man, like because you are a Muslim, because you are wherever, you are a terrorist, but we haven't found any evidence to link you to terrorism. So it is the manipulation of the of sentencing of the language. I was like, they know he's innocent, but they won't say that because
Yeah.
that require further accountability, acknowledgement, and so on. So like, oh, we 22 years in Guantanamo, and you haven't found any evidence to link him to terrorism. So in my case, for example, when I was sold as Al Qaeda commander 9/11 insider, after 15 years, they said uncleared if he actually joined Al Qaeda, and none of Al Qaeda members or Al Qaeda leaders recognize him as member of Al Qaeda.
Hmm.
I said, guys, wait. Either you say I was Al Qaeda or not. They said no. Back and forth, they said, look, we cannot say we detain an innocent man for 15 years. Simple as that. Like, they give it in your face. We have to do something. We have to say something. Whatever. I said, now I'm not longer a general. You strip me from my ranks. This was like a joke. And it's a big game. Like, whatever. You feel like you are just a piece in their game. I said, I'm not playing your game. I refused. But
Yeah.
you have no choice. You are being used wherever. So you see that orange color I'm wearing every single day and so on. That even
Yeah.
that beautiful color was misused and abused. So yesterday they brought us as terrorists, the worst of the worst. After 15 or 20 years, well, they don't want to admit their mistakes. And
Hmm.
as I told you, those reports based on the government document by Brown University, by Seton Hall, Burroughs, ACLU, and others, all everything on the government document that over 90% of the prisoners of Guantanamo actually innocent. And now, how many convictions? In Guantanamo in total, 8 convictions, half of them overturned.
Really?
Yes. And the rest are actually a plea deal. You have to plea deal, or we're not releasing you.
Why?
The government wants to have something. Like, you have to plea deal. Like, and people, okay, if I'm leaving, I don't care. Say that. So actually, the people who died in Guantanamo more than one who already convicted. Nine people died in Guantanamo. Actually, there are more. But as I told you, we cannot say there is like 10 or 12 because we didn't have the evidence to approve every single case.
Yeah.
The number is higher, and we know, and the government know. But as for us, when you talk to public, you have to have like actual and fact check figures.
Hmm.
But the death in Guantanamo was higher. The convictions now, I didn't think until now only 7 people in the military commission, and now all of them they have the option to plea deal, because even the one who actually like accused of 9/11 and so on, they couldn't try them before your justice system because they were tortured, they were abused, confession under torture, and like
It's
evidence for.
incredible.
And it's a big mess. Guantanamo case is one of the biggest cases in the 21st century. You
Yeah.
know, imagine Guantanamo itself is the most expensive prison, the most secretive prison. The annual cost of keeping Guantanamo open every year around $440 million.
14
20
million dollars.
Yeah, in 2025, is going to be $660 million because of the inflation.
Wow.
So,
Because I know President Trump opened it up again to send migrants over there. Like
so let me now. I want to jump to that point. You see what happened after post 9/11, 2001, 2000, after the announcement of the global war on terror, global war on Muslim, whatever, and the Patriot Act, then the legalization of the torture, the legalizing of the drone attacks and killing people worldwide. So if you go back in 2025, that was created by Bush administration, and the CIA was heavily involved in that. Now the same policy that was abroad, the same policy created inside the United States by Trump administration under the heavily involved with the Homeland Security, like most and ICE. So what they do now, the same language, the demonization, the humanization of the migrant, aliens, enemies, terrorists, the worst of the worst. So then they invoke the Alien Enemy Act again, and classification as a lawful enemy combatant. Send them to Guantanamo.
yeah,
Secrecy, no rights. Then to El Salvador. It is the similar scenarios, but this time targeting migrants, targeting residents. Eventually, they will target the U.S. citizen.
yeah,
That it's happening now. As you
yeah. I
know,
mean,
Obama said he will send American citizens to El Salvador to be imprisoned there. This is
yeah,
crazy. They
yeah,
will. They said they will renovate the Alcatraz and like they will imprison people there.
yeah. It's horrible. What's it called?
So like that, when they started targeting Muslim communities whatsoever, now they are not targeting not just Muslims. Everyone is being targeted. The same laws, legislation, and policy that under the pretext of counterterrorism, those measures are used now to target migrant, civilian, student, protesters, journalists, and people who is in the government bad book.
Yeah,
So basically, Guantanamo is become a policy. Guantanamo become a blueprint. Uh, Now, like we have been leading a campaign to close Guantanamo and call for accountability. Closing Guantanamo means the United States must acknowledge its wrongdoing, must apologize to the victims and survivors. There must be a compensation, reparation, and accountability, accountability, accountability. Life after Guantanamo is a different story, my friend. Do you want us to continue?
yeah, yeah. I got all the time in the world, man. I'm in no rush.
So, after you spend 10, 15, 20, 23 years in Guantanamo, you are being released either to your home country or to a third country. There are some prisoners they cannot go back to their home country, like Yemen, Afghanistan, I think, and Somalia. You cannot
Oh,
go back to
yeah,
your home country. So means they have to find you a third country under the agreement, classified agreement between the United States and the hosting country. You will be released. And once you're released, you know, prisoners sent to different countries, Eastern Europe, to Kazakhstan, to the United Arab Emirates, to Oman, to Western Europe, and so on. And after Guantanamo, most of us call it Guantanamo 2.0 or Camp 8, basically.
mm-hmm.
And when you are being released, there is no rehabilitation, no integration program, no system of support. You are being left alone and under heavy surveillance and harassment by police, by Secret Service, living the stigma of Guantanamo, where you cannot work, you cannot get married, you cannot study, you cannot have an even bank account. It's like hell.
Yeah, it sounds like hell. Wait, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
So after you live in Guantanamo, like do you still have effects of it? Because I know in the book you said that you can't concentrate after like they put you in the isolation and stuff, where like your like when they give you like pills in your food when you put in the white room and
And
stuff.
Guantanamo.
Yeah, Guantanamo. Like, do you have any effects after Guantanamo? Like when you got out and
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah. I mean, look, as I told you, Guantanamo itself was an experimenting lab.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are being released, there is no therapy. Imagine you spend 15, 20 years. There is a huge gap. And it's not, Guantanamo is not a prison. It's not like a normal prison. No, there is no
Yeah.
rules, no regulation whatsoever. When you are being released, now you are grown physically, a different how it's showing so much, but you have all this kind of mental, physical, and psychological problems. You are not, you're not given any therapy. Your family are not prepared to receive you. You're grown, your kids grown up. The ties, the emotion is not there anymore, and also the package you brought with you from Guantanamo: PTSD, depression, other health issues. Some of them you cannot recover,
Yeah.
and people don't around you, your family, your friends around you, don't know how to interact with you, how to, because you are a damaged person, and you need someone who can help you how to navigate and help your family how to deal with you, how to build this kind of connection, emotion, relationship whatsoever. It's not there. A lot of problems you have, like sleeping problems, PTSD. You have people have panics, people have like nightmares, all kind of stuff. And the problem is also, if you end up countries, you I work with Cage as now. Cage International is advocacy group based in the United Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
I have been work closely with former Guantanamo detainees and still working in Guantanamo. I work as Guantanamo project coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking to all the prisoners, man. And I did my thesis when I finished my bachelor degree on rehabilitation and reintegration of former Guantanamo prisoners. I work on the book behind me, which is Life After Guantanamo.
Mm-hmm.
Like worse than that, you are being treated like a terrorist, harassed, and that add to your problems. Some prisoners died because they were denied health care. Some prisoners still in prison until that day. Some prisoners end up in prison for 5, 6 years without no reason. Some of them actually were, when they released during Obama, after Trump, when Trump came after Obama, they were sent back to home countries where they end up dying or tortured or sentenced to jail. So this kind of case is a big mess,
Yeah,
a big mess.
because I know that in your book, you talk about your three friends that you found that they died and stuff,
Yeah.
and it was horrible because
So like now you are talking to the families, like you know dealing with also one of the cases not cover the family struggle, the families behind those men, the wives, the father, the mothers, the kids. A lot of many families destroyed because the breadwinner is not there anymore. The man who was taking care of the family is not there anymore.
yeah,
And going to the society, people, the stigma hunt you. Nobody can hire you. Nobody wants to do anything with you because terrorism. It's really, the stigma is really huge, and Islamophobia again as the product of the global war on terror. And as you know, how the United States policy, the United States reaction after 9/11, the way the policies and so on heavily impacted Muslim worldwide, impacted Muslim communities, countries, especially those who live in the West. You know,
mm-hmm.
like this, the stigma, the Islamophobia, and uh, this get even worse now because Trump, because also Elon Musk, they keep fueling this kind of stuff. And in Arab countries, Muslim countries, the counterterrorism policy was used to suppress activists, opposition, and anyone who the government don't like. Simple, the government don't like. So basically, like that. So this kind of policy is not. It is really become suppressing tools in those the hands of those rulers, regimes, and now you can see it in the United States. like students protest, like, no,
Oh
you
yeah.
cannot do that, because the same thing, counterterrorism, you are supporting Hamas, you Palestinian whatsoever. So the same, that also had impact on, like, that fueled the people now in like here in Europe. We can see it everywhere. As a Muslim, you feel being a Muslim is like you are being viewed as committing a crime. You are like a walking terrorist, a walking bomb.
Yeah.
Literally, I'm telling you. Like,
No, yeah, I've heard about it and seen people like whenever they see someone with their the robe in their head, they're like, oh no, look, he looks suspicious and stuff, and I'm just like,
exactly. And like, honestly, the one who actually being specifically target the woman, because if you are a woman, if she put her hijab as part of their, whether like Islamic belief or teaching or tradition or customs, oh, she is hijabi. They must. You cannot wear that. Like, my friend, why? Simply because that started after the global, what they call the global war on terror, this kind of Islamophobia, hate crime, and that it keep, and there was no condemnation, there is no legal actions against this kind of activities. So, and it got worse, my friend. It got worse. It got worse. Now, like, we are not just now the only being targeted now, regardless if you are Muslim or non-Muslim. Now you can see it, like, for example, if you in your podcast, just if you do an episode about Palestine, you will be targeted yourself. You will be hunted, you'll be targeted, you will be banned. You will see what happened to you. Because there is an entire army there who's follow this kind of stuff. Like,
mhm.
they report you, they have like collecting data or information about these people who is posting the genocide, and because they believe that you are Hamas supporter whatsoever. Anyway, my friend, and this is where we are now. Now we are start Guantanamo today. Guantanamo is still open. 15 people remain there, and three of them cleared for release. One of them actually cleared in 2009. He's still there.
Wow.
Yeah, and three
And they
of
can
them.
be released because they're still considered a threat to the United States, right?
No, when they clear, there is no threat. Sometimes
What?
when they clear you, just leave you there.
Wow.
There is no jurisdiction. There is no authority for anyone to force the government to release you. And three of them actually, for they call them forever prisoner, means they are not going to charge them and they are not going to release them. And it is the first time you see in history something called forever prisoner. One of them, this man here, Abu Zubaydah, and if you Google him, this man, he classified as the more forever prisoner. He is the most tortured prisoner in the CIA history. If you Google him, Abu Zubaydah, and see the torture report, the CIA contracted two psychologists to develop a torture program. They paid them around 80 something $1 million. And this man was the subject of the torture. If you Google him and you see the report published by his lawyers and psychologists and other guards about him, you will be shocked.
And what about the other
So,
man behind you?
yeah, this man is Abu Zubaydah, is here. So, see, there are six now, like three killed for release, three forever prisoners, and you have two convictions. Like, plea deal. One of them actually plea deal. One of them actually convicted because he refused to participate in the military commission job. They just convicted him like that.
Hmm.
So the other six or seven, they are in the what they call the military commissions. That we are talking about. We are talking about. So in total, 15 remain today. Guantanamo is still open. Guantanamo also has been repurposed, used to, as Trump suggested in 2019 when he said the undocumented migrant should be classified an enemy combatant and sent to Guantanamo. He did exactly that in 2025, where he classified those as enemy combatants and sent them to Guantanamo, where they're in prison. Eventually, they said they will try to house 30,000 migrants. They're like, oh, it's too expensive. It was cheaper to pay the El Salvador president, the prison merchant, less money and house those innocent Venezuelans and people. Like I believe they all are innocent because I have been in the same system that kidnapping, torturing, abusing, and lying to the world. If anyone commit a crime, they should be given a legal due process. They should be treated. They should be given the treated like human being, and we believe in justice. I'm not saying everyone should be free. No, if anyone, all we all want justice. But committing a crime, the torture, the abuses, and the killing under the name of justice, that's not justice. These are war crimes. That's what the government are doing now.
Yeah.
And I have been saying for a long time, honestly, since I was released, I said Guantanamo is going to be reused and is going to be created within the United States. And I don't think it's not. It's far from that. And like, for example, now Trump is calling to to prepare the Alcatraz to house criminals. What's the
Yeah.
question?
Which is
It's tyranny,
crazy.
man.
Which is horrible, man. Because like, it could be me. It can be one of my family members that could be
It could
targeted
be
and stuff.
anyone. It could be
Yeah.
anyone. Like
American
it could
citizens.
be if you go if now if someone doesn't like you from those the government like you could be guessed. The Venezuelan man who was like has a residency and he was sent to El Salvador. They Photoshop a tattoo, and Trump was defending them.
Yeah, I saw that.
So, my friend, as I told you, like it is lies, deceit, manipulation, and so on. There is, if the system, if the government does not really follow the constitution, follow, protect the people interest, the people rights, it's gonna be chaos. It can be chaos.
And what do you think as like us people can do for that to be for the Guantanamo Bay to be like ended and stuff to close it?
It's not just Guantanamo. Like it is actually abolishing the system, the Guantanamo idea that, which is it start resist. When we say resist, it's not mean like violence. No, resist means people should be educated about what's going on there, awareness, and taking actions, because what the government is doing is wrong and should be stopped. Because
Yeah.
that's going to ask. It's not going to stop at migrant or Guantanamo or those wherever. It's going to escalate. It's going to target the U.S. American, the U.S. citizens, and everyone. And trust me, I don't wish that for anyone, but when you see where this government is going, what's their policy? Who is actually benefiting from this policy? Is it serving the people? Is it serving that? It's protect the Americans and American interests? No, it is
No.
not. We know exactly who's. I don't want to say it, but the people should think what's going on here.
Yeah.
Like, let's make America great again. People should think what Trump has done that make America single policy that has make America great again.
Yeah.
Just one thing that benefit the people. Like now, the impact of this action is going to have huge impact, negative impact in the next few months.
Yeah.
And I honestly like when I talk to my American friends, they're afraid, they are confused, they don't know what's going on there because they haven't experienced something like that.
Yeah.
But I believe that's just one stage, and people should take actions, resist, protest, demand actions, demand change, and fight for your rights. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome, man.
You
Yeah.
should also you should also listen to my book. There is a book we published last year.
The
Letters
letters.
from Letters from Guantanamo. Yes.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it. I was gonna read it, but I wanted to finish up your book and stuff, man. But yeah, I don't know. I found your book so like powerful and stuff because like when I was reading it and stuff, and there was moments in the book where I was just like, I was just pissed off and stuff because like I don't know, I felt like I was in the room with you and like experiencing the things you were going through and stuff, man. And there were just moments where like it was just like you were so heroic and stood up for like the prisoners and stuff, and I was like, wow, wow, that takes a
Well,
lot of courage and stuff, and
I mean, you grew up in that place, in that environment, and you choose honestly, like whether you surrender yourself and sentence yourself to you. I can call it death or fight for whatever. And it's the same. You see the same system. It's not like when I like I'm not comparing, but the same oppression that happened now to American citizens. I believe the same system that created Guantanamo,
Yeah.
and that need to be to people need to take action and fight back, and because Trump and his mission are not going to stop. They will continue such policies,
Mm-hmm.
but to what end? I mean, what's next? They are targeting education system, targeting migrant, student, legal residents, and even U.S. citizens to that point. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so I'm not gonna talk about the policy,
Yeah.
but I'm talking about what's happening now, and I
Yeah.
believe that the change is coming. Especially, I believe in the student movement. They are the young generation who's going to lead the change,
Yeah.
and trust me, they are not that powerful. What they did, just messing around. Someone who is just arrogant, someone who just I believe like he thinks he has a policy, but sometimes when you look at this policy, they think they are running a company, not a country.
That is true.
Someone who thinks who own this company, do this, just do that, do that. No, that doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So,
awesome, man.
and final message, I would like to call the people to join us, the campaign to close Guantanamo, spread the words. We are demanding justice and accountability.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And do you have any words for anyone that's being oppressed right now? They're like stuck in like in hardship and stuff. Do you have any words for them?
The word for them, first of all, like uh, resist.
Resist.
Resist can in any form, which is preserve your humanity, preserve your value, your morals, your ethic, preserve yourself, educate yourself, and do not give up, no matter what. Because g- keep the spark within you alive.
That's awesome.
Sometimes resistance could be in many ways, in many in different forms, and so on. Like don't give up. There
Mm-hmm.
is hope. There is, and don't let yourself melt into the system. Don't let that environment, the around you, or this kind of pressure change you, or change you who you are, or touch your soul.
Yeah.
It's hard to, it's not easy, like, but when you can resist, sting to your humanity, to who you are. Otherwise it could change you, destroy you, become like a violent and angry person, or a totally completely destroyed person.
Mm-hmm.
And there is hope always. Keep hope alive, and remember, resistance.
That's awesome, man. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day and stuff to get on this on my podcast and stuff. Because I emailed like 10 other people, man. No one answered me. You were the only one, and I didn't expect you were gonna email me. And I was all like bummed out and stuff. I was like, oh man, like what am I gonna do and stuff. But
No, it's easy, honestly, like, because I know, especially with the people who is people looking sometimes for big platforms, a lot of followers, but I value as a person. You write to me, take the time and whatsoever, and so on, and I'd like to support you. And thank you so much for reaching out. If you like have a million or just want to talk, this is me. This is who I am. Like as I told you, we are Yemenis. We're very humble. We are. I'm not saying people are not, but this is our nature. And also at the same time, it's a message for me, for everyone. Like try to get the message across about Guantanamo, about us all, because Guantanamo, this kind of policy is not targeting just Guantanamo prisoner Muslim. It is a policy to target our humanity.
yeah,
So thank you so much for taking your time for doing this kind of work. And let me know. Maybe next time we're going to talk about another topics.
yeah, man, dude. Yeah, I'll be down and stuff. Cause yeah, cause I don't know, cause like I stayed up all night and stuff, cause I was trying to finish reading the book and trying to take notes and stuff, and yeah. But yeah, man, because that's awesome. Well, I appreciate it so much, and you have a great day, and I guess I keep in touch with you and stuff, my friend.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
You
Yalla,
too.
salam alaikum.
So,
Bye bye.
bye bye.